This is Kimba's Academy with 20 students who cannot stay here until graduation. A young man was walking in a garden full of flowers when a purple orchid-like flower said that a frightening future awaited him after the opening day. After walking a few steps, he heard a girl ahead of him who also seemed to listen to those words and now looked very worried. Suddenly, from behind, a red-haired young man appeared and said, "Don't mind the boastful words of that plant. Magical plants have personalities depending on the soil quality, so there are a lot of mischievous plants here." Suddenly, on the other side, a girl was scolding a white-haired for his rudeness in stepping on a flower stem. After she spoke, the flower immediately praised the rare beauty of the girl who looked like Katie. She walked casually but always exuded charm. Was it because of her rare foreign attire or was it her destiny? Greeting them was a parade of magical creatures. Truly, Kimba's Academy was full of unique things. After the plants, it was the animals' turn. The golden dragon at the front was a special type, with scales more beautiful than any other kind. The girl liked magical animals, but when she saw a troll being treated like a monster and forced to march, she felt upset because, although wild trolls could attack humans, they indeed needed to be trained. The red-haired young man and the girl had a fierce argument, disturbing the white-haired young man who was reading a book. In short, they decided to introduce themselves. The girl was just about to mention her name when suddenly a mysterious person used magic to make her run towards the parade. Everyone felt it was very dangerous, so they chased after her. The closer she got to the troll, the more the magic pushed her forward, but suddenly the magic stopped and she fell. Katie managed to stop her just in time. Then, they saw the girl preparing to attack the troll, so they used wind magic to help. That's when Katie drew her sword and managed to defeat the troll. After that, she thanked everyone for helping her and said she was almost scared to death before the opening day. Everyone gathered in a large building when the young man asked Katie if she had a special plan for daring to attack the troll. She laughed loudly and said that her sword didn't even have a blade. After talking for quite a while, the young man felt that this girl was a bit strange, but her crystal-like hair facilitated the flow of magic through her body, and her potential to become a magical witch was very high. The headmaster finally appeared on stage with a cool flash of lightning. His voice was loud and clear. He apologized for the incident with the troll and said that they would study at this school for 7 years. The school's style implemented freedom and achievement. In short, do what you like. If 80 students successfully graduate, then the other 20 will be devoured by magic. Then, Katie asked the headmaster if she could use acupressure techniques on her temples if she had a headache. This girl was indeed a bit silly. The welcoming event began, and the headmaster used magic to transport everyone to the party venue. Finally, everyone got a chance to introduce themselves. First was Chella. She was the eldest daughter of a large family. Next was Katie, a foreign student who loved all kinds of magical animals. Then the red-haired young man named Guy was born into a family of magical farmers and was quite confident in his knowledge of plants. The white-haired named Pete looked very elegant, but he and his family were very ordinary. Next was Oliver, whose family had 2 generations of wizards, and for some reason, he was adopted by his relatives, and his cousins who studied at the school told him many stories. Lastly was someone special. She came from the Samui family in another kingdom, and her name was Nanao. That day, when Nanao was surrounded by enemies, a sorcerer happened to rescue her and recommended her here. It was only later known that the sorcerer was Chella's father. After the story was over, everyone started eating because they were very hungry. Nanao, who was strong, planned to eat all the beef for 6 people, but everyone prevented her because they don't do that here. Oliver divided and brought the portions to the girls, making Nanao feel like a princess. The night passed peacefully. Oliver woke up very early. At 5 a.m. Pete's friend, who had previously mocked the room, was sleeping soundly. As Oliver wandered around the school, suddenly a girl claimed to be a secret agent sent by her cousin to guard him because they were very worried. After much questioning, Oliver finally learned her name was Teresa. They then promised to meet again later. After walking for a while, Oliver saw Nana bathing in the fountain, which surprised him. Bathing in a fountain like this made everything visible, so Oliver used magic to cover her from the view of people in the men's dormitory. However, Nana wasn't too concerned because her friend was the one embarrassed, she said jokingly. In reality, Nana was cleansing blood from a previous battle as part of a ritual. After bathing, Nana realized she didn't have a change of clothes, so Oliver lent her his clothes. Early in the morning, the 3 girls asked if they had slept well on their first night. Then Oliver and Pete arrived, while Guy hurriedly ran because he had overslept. Guy's alarm clock was broken due to a disturbance by time fairies, so he was late. Guy was surprised to see Nana wearing a uniform similar to a sorcerer's and asked why Oliver's uniform was wet. "It's nothing," he replied. First, they learned sword magic. Before they started fighting, Master Gan asked, "What is the definition of sword magic?" Pete raised his hand to answer, although some friends teased him because he was ordinary. Pete explained that 400 years ago, sorcerers began using swords with magic because a great sorcerer at that time lost to an ordinary person. They used swords in close combat when they couldn't use magic in time. To set the mood, the teacher asked experienced students to spar. Nana quickly raised her hand, as did the red-haired youth, Richer. Nana's friends noticed her proud face, wanting to show her prowess. Seeing this, Oliver asked the teacher to match Nana with Richer. Sir intervened to object, but Oliver said, seeing a friend in danger without helping is truly wrong. Finally, Oliver fought Nana. Their swords were enchanted to prevent injury. The fight ended when one managed to strike the opponent's head or chest. The fight began, and Oliver assumed Nana wasn't familiar with magic. However, when Nana's hair changed color, her attacks were very strong, using deadly sword techniques. Oliver was surprised, not knowing how much blood he had shed. When he was about to end the fight, the teacher stopped him. Chella also asked for the match to be cancelled. After class, Nana approached Oliver to discuss the fight. She enjoyed the fight and suggested fighting again with real swords without magic. Oliver, fearful, shouted a refusal because he didn't want to kill or be killed. Nana didn't understand and felt sad. Everyone then sat relaxed in the fountain, while Guy complained about magic lessons. The teacher said that as sorcerers, the only thing they wielded was a white wand and they had to handle everything with magic. After that, the lesson on magical creatures liked by Caddy began. Caddy was very enthusiastic. At the beginning of class, the teacher reprimanded Caddy, reminding her that creatures here were like resources. Today's task was to channel magic into silkworms to make them produce cocoons multiple times. If too much magic was used, the silkworms would turn into fierce monsters. The task for the students was to make cocoons. Each person received 10 caterpillars, 5 succeeding was enough. While others were busy calming caterpillars that turned into monsters, Chella finished everything with only one failure. Oliver also succeeded, and they both helped their friends. Pete succeeded too, but Guy was still struggling. The teacher walked around observing, acknowledging that this year's students were of high quality. Finally, everything was completed and Katie made 9 caterpillars succeed. She only wanted to exert everything to save lives, not just complete the task. Failures turned into evil monsters. She didn't want to give up and bit her hand. Fortunately, Chella and Oliver severed it. Because of this incident, they lost points. After class, Oliver spoke with Katie and learned that she had been living with these creatures since childhood, so she couldn't bear to see them hurt. Oliver said the house where he was born was like the residence of angels. However, he came down to earth and faced the cruelty of this world. So, he couldn't be an angel anymore, but he still kept his kindness. It was truly valuable. As Oliver walked around, he saw Teresa announcing that she had business at her cousin's house, so she would be absent for a while. During dinner, Nanako's face was always gloomy and Pete didn't have a book, so Chella and Oliver helped her find it. Because there were many elves here who liked to play around, finding the book was not easy. Katie had heard that the Kimbaji Auditorium was built on top of a giant labyrinth. It turned out the 3 of them got lost in the labyrinth and met a girl named VJI, a student from Class N, who was very mysterious. She always used some kind of fragrance to charm them. After successfully escaping, they met Kiju, also a student from Class N. Kiju and VJI teased each other for a moment, then fought. They summoned giant monsters that bit each other. Seeing this, they quickly fled. However, they were blocked by a bone fence made by Kiju. When they didn't know what to do, Nanako suddenly arrived. The two fought more fiercely. Nanako told everyone to retreat because if she joined the fight, the situation would be divided into 3 sides, and no one could escape anymore. Nanako said something that made everyone think, people who escape death are looking for a place to die. After that, Nanako drew her sword and stepped forward. Seeing this, Oliver also stepped forward without hesitation. Suddenly, someone used holy fire to stop all this chaos. It was Andon, the student council president, along with Wai Chao, a very cool student from Class N, overseeing. He even kissed them and called them cute kittens. Andon then told the 2 fighting people that their punishment would be announced later. If they understood, they had to return to the deepest level of the labyrinth. They usually didn't wander around this place. It turns out they were very interested in new students. Then, the 2 seniors showed the way out. Shortly after leaving, Oliver questioned Nanako about her courage to raid such a deadly place alone. Chella immediately urged him to speak seriously this time. Indeed, as Oliver said, she was not attached to her life. The story of 50,000 soldiers led by Sheena and the rear troops of Nanako was only 200 people. She kept killing until she met a very strong warrior who jumped to stop her, but he was also killed by her. When she realized it, all the soldiers had surrounded her without giving her an escape route. She asked for a final duel with the general's son-in-law, the #1 fighter of the clan. But it turned out to be the person she had just killed. She had killed a samurai without asking his name. This was a great insult, so the general was also going to kill her without asking her name. Feeling disappointed, she gave up. Thinking her life was about to end, suddenly a mysterious wizard appeared just in time and used Western magic to save Nanako. Intrigued by the child's great potential and swordsmanship, he invited her to his country to become a wizard. Since arriving at the Wizard Academy, no one had been able to make her fight seriously. So, since dueling with Oliver, she had felt a newfound happiness. But then Oliver firmly refused. This made Nanako sad, angry, and suffering. She wanted a serious fight where one of them would have to sleep. She loved someone by dueling to the death with that person through swordsmanship to show her love. Although she knew this was strange, she couldn't let go of swordsmanship. Seeing this, Chella suggested Nanako try to change herself. Because loving someone and loving a sword is no different, so instead of seeing the sword, look at the person. Try to forget the past and start a new life experience. Everyone also supported her to help restore her spirits, and enforced Nanako to promise not to sacrifice her life anymore. Nanako agreed and was also determined to do her best on her new journey. In the moment of clashing swords, both knew they were each other's fated enemies. Finally, the next day, she went to school happily and enthusiastically attended classes. Because Chella said not to look at people through swords, Nanako looked at Oliver. Suddenly, Katie came with a little jealousy and said Nanako shouldn't get too close to him. Pete and Y, seeing this, quickly disturbed Katie in the sword training class of Master Gal Oliver. There was a little question whether the teacher could use magic swords. Easily, Master Gallon explained to his students that in this world, there are 6 different types of magical swords, all with extraordinary powers. However, because this is secret information, Master Gallon couldn't elaborate further. When things calmed down, a young man came and asked if Oliver was studying or not. This young man, for some reason, kept talking. Seeing this, the boss Zalo said, "Long talk is foolish, he must fight Oliver first before he can shut his mouth." The young man agreed. But when he saw Nanako say that she fought for fun, the young man became very angry. At this point, Master Gallon heard their noisy voices and immediately dispersed them. Chella also told the young man that she grew up with him, so she understood that he always wanted to show his strength. While chatting, Pete came and told them that the troll monster was almost executed, so Katie was there arguing with the teacher. The teacher was confused about whether Katie was a monkey or a human because he couldn't understand, so he used magic that caused damage to Katie's entire body. Luckily, Oliver's group arrived just in time, otherwise, who knows what the teacher would do next. As the situation heated up, suddenly Vera and a platinum-haired young man appeared. After talking, the female teacher became desperate and left. It turned out that Vera liked non-human creatures like Katie, making Katie very happy because there was someone with a personality similar to hers. As everyone prepared to return to class, a letter arrived from Anio saying that she wanted to fight Oliver and Nanako. Tensions escalated. Katie went to the troll's place and people who didn't like this started talking about it, saying that Katie and the troll were like close friends. They mocked her for spending time with a stupid wild creature, not to mention the troll's foul smell. Katie wanted to teach them a lesson, but fortunately, Oliver stopped her. The longer it went on, the more outrageous they became. When Katie entered, they took advantage of her to insult her and say that she mimicked the troll's voice and seemed to have forgotten how to speak like a human, even wanting to send Katie back to her cage. Angry, Oliver immediately attacked them. Peace is a very sacred word, so Oliver used lightning magic and finally, they were all punished in an underground prison. Despite the punishment, they remained proud because Katie managed to defeat 5 people and Nano 10, but Oliver was still the best. Seeing Oliver, Katie immediately apologized, but Oliver said it wasn't her fault, just that he was a little angry and couldn't control himself. He said that if he were in Oliver's position, he would do the same. Katie was very happy because everyone stood up to defend her from humiliation. Their friends now became enemies, so in the match with Anio, no one would help them. When night fell and the hunters woke up, Oliver led an expedition into a large labyrinth already filled with cheering people. Oliver asked Ophelia to protect 3 people, while he and Nana would ascend to the spectator stands. However, before that, there was a small show. Anil appeared and around him were cages filled with wolves. Anil killed all the wolves, making the crowd cheer louder. Then Andai appeared, and Oliver asked what his intention was. It turned out he didn't want to fight for victory, so the form of the competition was changed. Oliver and Nana would compete to see who could kill more wolves, and the winner would be determined from there. It sounded fair, but Andai turned out to be an expert in this game. Suddenly, there was one wolf left, scared, clinging to its cage, but then someone pulled it out, using torture magic and then shooting a fireball to destroy it. The crowd cheered, making Nana very angry. They saw the action and remained indifferent, showing how low they were. Everyone then threw things at her. Katie told 2 to leave because there was no match there. Suddenly, someone released Gazu's bird, which then attacked and killed many people. It turns out everyone everywhere is not his match. The door was closed, and more people were killed. Nano stepped forward to fight the birdman. He is too strong. Oliver rushed to help but was severely injured. He was very scared, but Nano had extraordinary courage. Oliver healed his wounds and helped Nano, but there was no more time. They had to end the battle immediately. Oliver diverted the birdman's attention so Katie could finish the fight. Fortunately, at the last moment, Anil came so he could easily cut off his head. Finally, Oliver came to comfort Anil amid the audience watching the wounds caused by the birdman's attack on his friend. Anil said, "Why do they face enemies without fear while I am always afraid of losing? Because it is a shame." In the end, they became friends and Anil shed tears. The first time he saw his friend like that. After that incident, Oliver was again intercepted by the guards who asked about his condition. Life is strange, but who would have thought there would be a fire eagle attack? Indeed, bad luck? But still, Katie brings food for Chan every day, but usually she doesn't want to eat at all. However, today is strange, she even took a bowl and started eating. This morning, during science class, the teacher forced students to dissect a creature kept for research. Since then, Oliver has felt after that sad incident, he learned valuable lessons. But he still wonders, is he too optimistic? Is this revenge from the human rights group after the Chan uprising incident? At least if the perpetrator of the Fire Eagle incident is revealed, he would feel more relieved. Oliver said, "Don't expect anything from the school. They won't act because this happened in the labyrinth." But, on the other hand, Nana benefited greatly from this incident. Fans came flocking to ask about her skills and how she handled the situation. She became famous overnight. Katie saw this and wondered why Oliver also fought but wasn't famous. Pete said, "Nana's technique is striking, while Oliver's is simple and confusing, making Oliver's face darken." Chella then went to kiss Oliver but was pushed away by Oliver. Nana came hearing the story and kissed Oliver, and when Oliver returned her kiss, Oliver's sister came. In the first alchemy training session, they will create a magical potion according to the formula. They thought the teacher would mock them after Katie's incident, but he didn't. As they started, Y and a female student made a mistake, but Oliver quickly intervened. When it was Pete's turn, the situation worsened. The experimental tube looked like it was going to explode. Oliver immediately ran and hugged her. Everyone was surprised, but this time he managed to make a good impression on the strict teacher. However, as they left, the teacher said, "Choose your friends wisely." While everyone congratulated him, Anio came and warned him about the teacher, as he would take outstanding students as assistants and claim their achievements as his own. Someone known to Anio wanted to talk about the troll that attacked during the opening ceremony. It turned out that he was the one who put Katie in danger during the ceremony. Oliver thought there might be another group plotting to anger the troll. On the way home, Katie wanted to visit the troll. She fed the troll while asking why he was angry. Dano and Oliver taught each other how to use spells. Unexpectedly, the troll spoke, saying that he would become the war god Revi, and the food made him playful. The troll said, "Don't come again, he's dangerous." While talking about spells, Nana suddenly said that maybe the troll wanted to escape, not be angry, as he saw the troll running towards the school gate. Oliver felt something was wrong, then ended the training and looked for Katie. They arrived at the scene, finding only Katie's sword. The troll said he had been taken by a woman to the deepest and darkest place where he was once imprisoned. The reason the troll could speak was because several human rights groups experimented on him. Because he could speak, he was considered equal to humans and had human rights. They then headed into the labyrinth, going deep inside. If they went further, it would be very dangerous. Suddenly they were swallowed by something and taken to another place. It turned out Vera had trained a fire eagle as a pet, and Nano had turned its launch day into a sad day. She was truly insane. When she controlled the eagle didn't say anything, but when Katie came, the eagle spoke. It wanted to dissect Katie's brain. Seeing this, Nano immediately attacked but was hypnotized by the eagle's eyes. Fortunately, Oliver saved her just in time. It even claimed itself as a half-human. What kind of half-human is that cruel? Stop showing off those eyes, big brother. Be careful, you could lose an eye. Now they were already fighting. Oliver warned Nano not to get caught by the demon's eyes. They attacked together, but Nano's attacks were blocked by Vera. The eagle's eyes were truly terrifying. Nano attacked again, but it seemed she was no match for Vera. Twice in a row, Vera could block Nano's attacks, and now it was Vera's turn. Vera attacked like a witch. Nano tried to attack from behind but fell into a trap. Vera used fire to burn Nano like a squid, but Nano could sense the magic and dispelled it. After attacking together, they saw this battle becoming more intense. They fought passionately, and Nano attacked from behind. What is this? Why are so many demon eyes appearing? There were also demon eyes in her left hand, but that didn't bother Nano. She used the demon eyes and pierced Vera's hand until it was severed. Oliver watched in amazement. Time seemed meaningless in this battle. Could this be the seventh demon sword? They planned to get Katie out, but right at that moment, the chairman arrived. After coming to her senses, Katie was still very shocked. At first, Vera played purely, but after interacting with the eagle and being able to speak with a half-human researcher, it's no wonder the eagle is now the only creature successfully given intelligence. Therefore, the eagle will not be killed now. Hearing that, Katie jumped with joy and kissed Oliver and Nano on their cheeks because they had won the battle. Partly because the troll was granted the right to live. Now that she's happy, she'll meet Vera and decide to break up. From now until graduation, she will make this place the best place. Hearing this, Oliver shed tears because he could still protect the goodness within him despite many things making him see the world differently.